Scripturally, yes, but geologically, no, we can't, because of the limited fossil record. That's a paleontological record.
Paleontology is the study of fossils, whether human or animal. Pangea was 335 million years ago and broke up 200 million years ago. And unfortunately, this image is of a giant fossilized elephant. I don't think it's a mastodon. Scripture, as we know, even in the Dwapara Yuga, managed to cremate Putana, who was 12 miles long. So certainly there wouldn't be likely anybody living, any human bones left for us to find exhumed. And apart from the erosion and other squashing rock phases like diagenesis, as I explained in the previous question, subduction again is when two plates collide and one is pushed down and below the other, and it gets pushed down into the mantle and really the earth's core, and so everything is completely subsumed. I'm re-recording this because I swiped away and that automatically stopped my filming, so I'll have to record it again. Scripturally, I gave the example of King Kakutmi taking his daughter Revati to Brahma, and Brahma laughed that so many millions of years have passed and he's not supposed to know anybody once he returns, because even the palaces and cities that he knew will have turned to dust and blown away. But an interesting prospect to consider is that when you see, say, a granite bench, and it's hollow at the middle, and at the sides it's only supported, and so over a relatively short time we can see that old bench has sagged in the middle under its own weight. So something that we thought was solid actually bends and slowly flows, bulges down with gravity. Now consider a palace made of gold, scripturally, over millions of years, how that can melt if it's unpicked by humans, and it can cause a placer deposit, for example, geologically, and we think, where did this gold come from? And this is unusual geologically, and that can happen too. But I did give the example of Klaus Schmidt, who shows very unique items, and he has many items from Mr. Crespie. But Crespie's collection is unreliable. We can't see if they are scientifically real. People can be making things for him, and he buys them from them in Ecuador. The scientific community is getting better and pushing the boundaries further and further, so we're finding older finds and they are agreed to be that way. And so we have a European area skulls like Georgia, and Dravidian, that are much older than even the out of Africa theory blows that apart. And I think I mentioned in the original audio that the Harvard geneticist won the bet with his professor at Harvard that the out of Africa theory would be debunked in his old professor's lifetime. Stone tools can now be pushed to 4 million years, but then we have older footprints, I think 8, skulls in the middle somewhere, but even older than that, I did recommend The Forbidden Archaeology by Michael Cremo. He has 200 pages on undisturbed samples of flints alone. I reiterate that it's of great importance that the area is undisturbed, in meaning that the ground must not have been picked through. It has scientists looking at it and they agree that it's never been interfered with, so it can't be cheated. Now, as we approach the original recording again, it was about the fossilized footprints, definitely human footprints, not ape-like footprints.
Definitely human and not from an ape. So there's a distinction between hominin, hominid, hominoid, hominin. But when we specifically talk about humans, there's a clear distinction that Neanderthals, for example, when they get more ape-like, they have a ball. The toe is large to the left of the foot, when that ball is missing, then it's definitely humans, and there's definitely very old, many millions of years old footprints found in what was once a soft sediment, and then that hardens into a good fossil, which they've also measured with computers in great detail to show the height and the speed, their gait with their walking, how much pressure is shown in 3D models and casts. So we do have good scientific evidence to push back the old Christian view of a relatively young Earth to many more millions that it is. And normally science does keep doubling its threshold of how old things can be, and they'll double and double again. But with fossils, it shouldn't happen that way by Hooke's law, doubling and doubling exponentially, because with fossils, the older and deeper they get, the more is burned up and melted, and we'll never see it again. The evidence is naturally eroded and melted away.